Welcome to Todd's 2-Minute Tech Tip Tuesday, brought to you by Big Beard Battery. Visit bigbeardbattery.com. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That way you don't miss anything. Hey, this week I'm going to answer 2 questions that were actually brought up about airflow when it comes to air conditioners. Here's the questions we have. This one's coming in from Mark Meyer. It says, I need a tip on how to improve the airflow of my Whisper Quiet AC. The bedroom works good, but the living room space, not so much. All right, so there's an airflow problem. And he used the operative word, whisper quiet. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means that even though it's a roof-mounted air conditioner, he can't get to the bottom of the air conditioner through the ceiling, right? So a lot of us RVers, we can actually see the lower control unit. That's where the air filter is and everything else. His is actually put on top. So here's the thing. In order to improve the airflow, we need to look into what's called the lower plenum. You know, what's going on underneath the air conditioner. Is the divider plate off a little bit? Is there holes in there that's allowing the air to leak into the attic or whatnot? In order to find out, unfortunately, you'll need to get up on the roof and, depending on the brand, take off the shroud and then remove the 4 lag bolts. Okay? You have to move the 4 lag bolts. Now, the lag bolts are actually screwed into the wood or, you know, whatever base that we have between our ceiling and our roof. Okay, so this is going to hit the trusses or whatnot. So typically 2x4 or something like that. You'll remove those and then carefully pick up one end of the air conditioner and move it over. You may need to disconnect the harness, right? The power going to it. So got to be careful with that. Before you do all that, you'll need to go downstairs, disconnect shore power, right? If this is beyond you, even at this point, of course, I'm going to recommend that you hire a qualified technician, come look at it. But here's the problem. You need to address the airflow problem. Somewhere in there, something is allowing this airflow to be mixed up, especially if you're comparing it to another unit inside the RV, probably like kind that works just fine. That one doesn't. Okay, so that means the application or the design of that plenum somehow is insufficient, and we need to correct that. So you need to get up on the RV, carefully move, turn off power, move the air conditioner, and address the problem there. Okay. With that, of course, I get the questions as well. Hey, if we take away that right angle, can we get some more velocity back from the airflow? Absolutely. And wonderful company out there is the RV AC Airflow that simply takes that right angle out, creates a scoop designed for that air to flow. Definitely worth it. In order to increase the airflow, you're going to get about 40% of that airflow back. All right, so again, for you have an airflow problem, in order to address it on a Whisper Quiet, well, that means you got to get up on the RV and do all the steps for that, or hire a qualified technician. There is another question that's coming in from TK from the USA. TK from the USA, right? Kind of rhymes. He says, I'm getting no fan kick when I put it in low. Now, I guess he's talking about low fan speed. He's talking about his air conditioner, right? We're just assuming, picking up on this. I'm getting no fan kick when I put it in low, and it freezes up on high, and my coils are clean. Could that be a capacitor problem? It's a 2-year-old camper, okay? Here's the hard part, right? I'm having to interpret, some of the things that you didn't ask. So the first thing you said is, when I turn it on low, I'm getting no fan kick. So the question is, to confirm, is the fan spinning at all? Or is it just not spinning very fast? What does low kick mean, okay? The second thing you said, it freezes up on high, and my coils are clean. Again, what's the condition of the fan? Because here's the thing. Your coils will definitely freeze up. One of the causes of your coils freezing up, right? And I've done a video on this, is simply block the airflow. So if the fan is not spinning at all, which could be a capacitor problem, obviously your coils are going to freeze up. There has to be air going across there. We're creating a low pressure with the Freon in there. Freon, depending on the atmosphere's pressure, will boil at minus 40 degrees, right? So it's boiling below freezing, right? If there's no airflow, yes, you're going to get frost on there. We need there to be airflow. So it does sound like there's a problem. It could be the capacitor. It could be the bearings in the fan freezing up. Kind of hard to tell, right? So it's hard to diagnose this, but obviously you have pinpointed that it could be an airflow problem. I know some of you will say, Todd, freezing up on my residential AC is also an indicator of low Freon. In the RV space, we have less than a pound of Freon in these things, and it's a sealed system. And if it leaks, then it's going to be empty, okay? There'll be a very small window where there's low Freon, right? Still maintaining the pressure, but more than likely this is an airflow problem, right? Could be the capacitor, right? Again, hire a qualified technician to test capacitor and then replace it with like kind, okay? It could be a bearing problem, okay? And those are sealed bearings. You can't necessarily oil them, so we may need to replace the shaft and the bearings that are on there. In both cases, it does appear to be an airflow problem. Get air across those coils, even though they're clean, and it won't freeze up. So there you go. There's your tech tip. Hey, if you got questions about batteries or want to go ahead and put in a solar system but need some guidance, head over to bigbeardbattery.com, fill out the solar design form, and one of our certified solar experts will give you a call and get you started. That's right. Airflow problem. Bam.